Every time you light my face, I do wanna say it's you.
Hi everyone, we are back with episode 2 of the podcast about online education during MCO times. So, hi, my name is Yan. Okay.
I'm Shubha here.
Yeah, Shubha,
Hi,
Isha.
I'm Isha here.
Yeah, and we have Ms Maresha with us today. Yay!
Hi. Hi, my name is Maresha Thomas. Actually from Lincoln, Tesco. So yeah, I'm here today.
Yeah, Ms Maresha is our lecturer. So today we are going to actually talk about the educators side of things. And in the previous episode, we focused more on the students part. So today we are going to focus more on the educators part. So before we continue, I will share the responses, the results. We actually did a survey also for educators about this online education thing. So let me share the statistics. Okay, so we have a tie between it's like young and middle-aged teachers lah, basically. Mostly they are female teachers. And then mostly also from the private sector, we have 2 teachers from the government schools. And then almost half are secondary teachers. We have earliest education, and then we also have higher education, which is like Ms Maresha. She's lecturing in a university, volunteer teacher, and primary education. When we ask like which statement best describes your experience as an educator with online teaching, it's not surprising that most of the teachers say that it's actually their first time to experience online teaching. And then some said, I have some previous experience with online teaching. What do you think about this? Did they get the previous
I
experience?
think from the teaching the master's students because they are part-time, right? Sometimes they can't join in the class.
Miss, actually, which one would you say you are at?
I would say that this is my first time experience online teaching. But for the teachers that claim that this is not their first time, maybe they have, apart from part-time teaching, maybe they have students from international, I would say. Because we
Overseas.
have short courses as well where we do teach international students.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, moving on. As a teacher, what has pleasantly surprised you about online distance learning? So, the bulk of it, like 4, answered the flexibility. And then yeah, it's really very flexible. I'm not sure how good of a thing it is. In a way, it's good. And then yeah, what do you all think about the flexibility of online distance learning actually?
I feel like even for our classes, right, it's flexible. Like we can adjust according to our time,
Need.
free time, yeah, and our need. And then we can have as much of additional classes because like most of us are at home, and then we have the access to the internet. If it's face-to-face classes, I don't think it will be that flexible to come there and sit.
Yeah, you can't have night classes or
Oh yeah, night classes.
yeah.
But means from the perspective of like lecturer, how do you view flexibility of online learning? Do you think it's a good thing, or how is it in a way? How is it good or how is it not so good like that?
For me, I would say it is flexibility. At the same time, it's not, because I am a working adult, so I need to make sure that I be at office at time. Sometimes we don't have like stable internet connection, so I need to have to make sure that my internet connection is everything is like stable. So sometimes I couldn't go to work just because I have to make sure that I contact my classes from a very secure internet stable. Due to my unstable internet, maybe like my flexibility at my working place, maybe it's not okay. But when it comes to online learning, with where I do classes with you guys, I find that it's very very convenient
Mm.
and also very flexibility.
Mm. Yeah, actually online learning there are certain criteria that need to fulfill. For example, like the most important one is the good internet connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then after that we have innovation, freedom to experiment with teaching practice. Is this true, Miss? There are more things that you can use.
No, I don't think so, because I feel like it's limited. I will say that maybe for other teachers, maybe they're very creative enough, to be so innovative. But as for me, to be honest, like I don't really feel like I can use that much of freedom. I feel like I'm kind of limited. I
Mm,
can't go beyond the line because I can't access to many things.
mm, mm,
And I prefer face to face. If face to face, I feel like there's no any limitations.
mm,
Yes.
Yeah.
mm. Yeah.
And then when lecturers are explaining, like, right, they like to write on the whiteboard and then be hands-on with that. And then I don't think we can do that in online.
Yeah, I mean, they do have like in Zoom, they have this whiteboard
But
thingy,
it's
Mm,
but I don't
so,
think so. It's really convenient.
yeah.
Yes, it's not really convenient.
yeah. Actually, I think like what Miss say, right? Later we have a question that actually corresponds to Miss answer about talking about like online resources that will be really helpful for teachers actually. So later we'll get to that one. Engagement and enjoyment of pupils. Okay, that's interesting. I'm not sure. I'm not sure like how many teachers they actually experience, like an increased engagement with students like through online learning. Because I think it's a challenge, right, to be able to like keep on capturing the students' attention at all times during the lesson.
Yes, it's very, very, very challenging actually, to be honest. Because it's not easy because like yes, I'm a lecturer and I'm doing the talking, but sometimes like not sometimes actually, almost of the times I feel tired. Mentally I feel tired. Yes, I'm just sitting and looking at the laptop, but still mentally I'm feeling tired, and I can assure that you guys will feel like thousand times even more tired because you guys are just looking and listening without even talking. And that is why I will try to, to create some sort of communications. We talk about that particular topic, so I'll ask your opinions, this and that. So that's the reason actually, but it's not really that motivating for me as a lecturer.
Mm,
Actually,
mm,
I still prefer because it's really tiring. It's not
mm.
easy to actually to keep you all stay awake and alive during my lecture time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
And then I think some lecturers are lucky because the student is turning on the video, but some lectures, the students are not turning on the video or they are muting, and then the lecturers don't know what the students are doing, or is the student really there?
Mm.
Like they are the only ones talking through the.
Yeah.
that is why I would say please turn on your video.
Yeah. Yes.
It's yeah lah. Is it the because when you turn on the video, that's the only engagement that we can have, the
Yes.
interaction that we can have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each other.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I think we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we are going to have another invited guest with us. So yeah, see you soon.
out of mind every time you lie in my place.
Okay, hi everyone. We are back from our short break, and we have with us now Aisha and also another special guest, Diyana. Let's welcome Diyana. Yay!
Yay.
Diyana, would you like to introduce yourself? Like, what are you doing?
Okay, currently I'm studying,
Mm.
and also it's a part-time studying, but full-time I'm working as a lawyer. So basically, what I do is I have night classes. Uh, so from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. from Monday to Thursday, I have classes, and also work from 8 a.m. to around 5:30 to 6 p.m.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's very packed schedule. Okay.
Yeah.
that's very bad. Yeah, I only have time during Saturdays, Sundays, and Fridays as well. Fridays at night, I don't know, only.
I wonder how long you get to sleep each night. If like after 10
Yeah.
p.m. class you still do assignment, and then after that morning
Yeah.
8 you gotta go to work.
You don't want to know.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Tired all the time actually. It's going well. It's
Mm-mm.
just been 3 months in. I have another
Mm-mm.
2 months to go. By March I should be finished. So it's just a 5 months thing. Suffering for 5 months just to get the result,
Oh.
which is forever, I guess. So it's totally worth it. Yeah, depends
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
what. Yes.
So I think when you sign up for the course, you are prepared to sacrifice just for this. I mean, you already.
You have to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Okay, I think before we continue with like our so-called mini Q&A, we will continue with the like educators uh survey that we left off just now. Okay, so just now actually I will run through again. Just now we talked about like the age range of our educators responses, which are like middle age, 22 above and middle age as well, mostly female, and then mostly private. We have 2 from the government sector, and also mostly secondary teachers. We have some early years and lecturers, and then a volunteer teacher and a primary school teacher. So then, which statement best describes your experience as an educator with online teaching? So for most of them, it's like first time experiencing online teaching. Yeah. And then for some, it's like have some previous experience. But Diana, your online classes on weekday nights is physical classes, is it? Like,
No, online classes. It started as an online class during the MCO during March.
oh,
Do you actually just join the MCO or like way before that?
No, way before that. Joined on September of last year.
Ah,
oh,
September of 2019. Yeah, it was okay. It was smooth sailing until March of 2020, where MCO was pronounced. And I think we had a postponement of classes of the
mm,
whole education
Yes.
system for 2 months,
Yeah.
I believe. After that, they pronounced that you have to do something. You cannot just
mm,
halt it like that. So the educators came up with the idea, why don't we just try online classes? But some of them are not very learned in online classes. So what they do is they just give us simple tasks. So more work burden actually. If you don't
mm.
have classes, they give you more tasks. They give you more articles to write. So it's either that or you fail. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, so that's like the coursework all is different already, right? So as
It
a
was
teacher,
a very it was
yeah.
a very sudden thing, so I don't really blame them. What you can do
Mm,
as a student is just abide by it.
yeah. Actually, yesterday also we talked about like because everyone so called has a negative feeling. Not everyone, but mostly, generally, people think that face to face is better. It's because like this online whole online thing was like bulldozed onto us because of this
It
MCO.
is. It is.
I think that's one of the like major challenges students teachers are facing now. Even some of them I see stories where some teachers they actually like go extra mile to print all the papers, either to post it to the students or even go to their village and give it out to the students because they really have
And
no
those
internet
are,
connection.
yeah, I believe that as well because I speaking from experience as well. I do have a few friends in the education sector. What
Mm,
happened is the education budget is very scarce.
mm,
So some of them actually have to use their own money out of their own pocket
mm,
to supply the students with papers, printed materials, even petrol money that they go
mm,
around. They're not getting paid for it. People don't realize that the sacrifices they're making. I don't agree with people making negative remarks against lecturers or any educators because I believe they're sacrificing more than they have to actually, and we have to work together with them. You have a
yeah.
responsibility to work together with them because you're the one that's joining in their class.
But it's not easy also lah, even for like Ms Maresha to have to switch to online classes. I think we all agree that like our TESOL students we really prefer to have face-to-face learning. A big step of faith, like you have to learn
Yeah.
new terrains and all these sort of things to be able to
Mm.
like successfully hold a class online. So yeah, as students
Mm.
actually we are very thankful that we can still like continue learning, If not like
Yes.
even during the MCO, like for some time because we were thinking like, oh, 2 weeks only ma. Then we can
Yeah.
come back already.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then end up
Understand,
six
understand.
months, 1 year already almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I do respect the opinion that physical classes are better. Some of them say that, but in terms of time, in terms of saving costs as well, I believe online classes should and ought to be better and ought to be presented more, honestly.
mm,
But that's only me, as someone who's working. It benefits me, honestly,
mm.
because I save a lot of time on traveling. Because before MCO started, before online classes, this whole shebang started, I was going to physical classes. So I would leave my work half an hour early because my boss, generous person, he allows me to go out early every single time I have classes. So I would travel around 45 to 50 minutes a day, going to
Wow.
UKM and back from UKM to Seremban for another 50 minutes. So it's like almost
Wow.
2 hours a day. So I waste 2 hours there. But through
Mm.
online classes, I only need 1 minute to set up my Zoom or my Teams account or my
Yeah.
business or
Yeah.
whatever. So I save around 2 hours. I save the energy. I save the gas. In terms of having physical classes is much more people are more focused. I believe that's on you. That's not on the
Yes.
lecturer.
Yeah.
Your choice.
I
I
think
mean, I
lecturers,
have had,
yeah.
okay, I'm guilty of it as well. I've had times where I'm too tired to listen. So what I did was I just turned off my camera.
And then, so in your opinion, what are the main challenges for teachers? I think even as students, we will agree about this.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping all pupils motivated and engaged. Yeah, this is like really challenging.
Actually, this is my first, the most challenging task when it comes to online classes. Actually, not even internet. It's more like how am I supposed to make sure that my students are stay awake. It's not really about stay awake. You guys, mentally. I mean, physically, you guys will be there, but
Mm,
mentally, you guys are not here. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? You know what I'm talking
mm,
about, right? So I have to make sure that that is why I'll try my level best to make sure that you guys are like, having some sort of, like I've said earlier, not just a communication, but fun communication, fun topic,
Yeah.
just to make sure that you all are like, engaged with this class. At
mm.
the same time, to help me to stay awake as well,
Yeah.
motivate myself.
Like all these things, it actually for you means it takes part in the planning process even, right? Like before
Yes,
that, you already have to plan like what you're going to do in order to
yes.
achieve this. Yeah. So wow, the whole time you'll be thinking about this already.
Yeah, I'll be thinking like, okay, tomorrow what am I supposed to do?
But then it's really interesting though. I actually admire you, Miss. The
Wow.
We all do. We
We
all
all
that
do.
you can
do.
come up
Oh,
with. Yeah, it's really very fun. Your classes are really very fun, even though it's online, right?
Yeah.
oh,
I'm like surprised. Wow,
thank
this
you.
new task that Miss gave. It's
It's
really
fun because you guys are engaging with me as well.
another tool for the five one is converting activities and content into like digital form, and this is increased workload and stress.
Oh, yes. Very
Mm,
stressful. Not only that, people be thinking that just because like I'm I'm not blaming all the management. It's just like few certain management people. They think that just because we educators are working from home, they're thinking that we have like that plenty of time at home.
mm,
We are so free. We are not really doing our work. They're not even coming to office. They're just doing their classes from home. So they'll give us extra work actually. So they'll give us something where we are not supposed to do. you know for example, they'll give us like some sort of management task, and
mm,
then documentation, and then even marketing. They ask us to do that just because they thought that we are not really doing anything, but actually preparing a class is not easy. You have to
mm.
prepare every single thing, you have to go through so many things. So it was kind of stressful for me, but to be honest, like at first I struggle a lot. I mean, you guys know that I really struggle a lot, but as time passes by, I managed to cope up with it.
And
So
also,
maybe like online classes help me to, manage my stress.
did it help us to manage our stress too as students? I was saying, because of one thing MCO taught me actually is to do things last minute.
But then it's the same, MCO or not MCO. MCO taught me to start things early, but then I leave it
Finish at the
halfway,
end.
then
Yeah.
continue at the end. I mean, if people ask me, oh, I'm halfway done. It's always
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Then we have this converting activities and content into like digital form. I think this one contribute to the work stress also. There was one time I went to this printing shop and then I heard this like I think primary school government school teacher. So he was like lamenting, He was like saying like normal physical classes, all the lesson plans are in place already. All the buku all in place already. Teaching aids materials all are there already. You just need to follow. But then because like online classes, right, he has to like come up with new lesson plans all over again. How is he going to convert all the lessons into digital form? And then because of that, it's like the the planning hours is even longer than the class hours. So it's like really increased workload for the teacher like that. Miss, how was the process like for you? I mean previously also we are using like your PowerPoint like for physical classes. Is there like a lot of things that you need to like change to online?
Since we've started with this online class, the management, I mean, to you guys, I'm only showing the PowerPoint slides, right? But
Mm,
actually, I'm doing extra work as well, where we have to submit this to the management, where we need to submit our lesson plan and also our slides. Not only that, also we have to come up with a lecture notes about that particular topic. So that lecture notes is not easy. It's not something where it's very easy to do. Like you really need to have like minimum you have to do like 10 pages for one topic.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to really like explain every single thing. So that is something that's very challenging.
Mm.
All of the lecturers really had tough time going doing that for each classes, and we need to submit at the end of the semester.
Wow.
So
It's like a mini assignment for each.
yeah, I mean, like when we were doing this face-to-face class, we don't have such things, you know. But now they ask us to do this, and also they ask us to come up with any effective URL link that is kind of related to your topic or whatsoever. So they actually came up with so many things. Even for next semester, also they suggested few things about these things, but we'll look into it one by one.
Yeah, wow, very stressed off for teachers.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yes.
this is the part. What would most help teachers to support online learning during the school closure? This one, more free resources and tools from education technology companies. This one, I think we would also call like ringan the beban of teachers, because now like you all have to prepare your own teaching aids, right? But if let's say there's free resources that you can just plug from internet and then maybe like
Yeah.
personalize it, that will be very helpful, right, Miss?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Easy contact with experts. Wow, life support. Like when you got
Yes.
problem, immediately someone can help you to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we even for lecturers, we had webinars like on how to conduct online classes in more effective ways. So we had that actually. So it's kind of how to say we had a very easy contact with the experts compared to the face-to-face seminars. I
Mm.
don't think so we'll be able to, because the expert is actually from a different country, and we had like quite many of us, you know, watching this. We joined this webinar. So if we had it like face to face, I don't think so we would have the chances to ask him the questions or something.
Mm.
But since this is like online, so it's easy for us to actually communicate with him. I was kind of effective as well.
Then we have this Thai webinars for teachers to share ideas and challenges. I think this one is like this is something like the webinar you mentioned just now, Miss.
Yeah, this is the one that I've mentioned.
This one.
Yeah.
And then website with list of useful resources. Yeah, then you don't need to spend time googling which website works, which one doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for one class I'll spend at least 1 hour
To find.
just by, yeah, just to find like the appropriate, the good resource. So it's
Wow.
not only, it doesn't come from one book, it comes from different books actually, the slides.
Mm.
Everything is not based under one book, it comes from different books. So we need to make sure that, you know, I have to like you fix the puzzles like that.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's not easy.
Yeah,
Okay.
and sometimes you'll insert like video clips like to entertain us while
Yeah.
learning. Yeah, it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
No
Yeah.
create lesson plans for online teaching. Yeah, this one. Okay.
Yes.
We move on. In your opinion, due to the current circumstances created by the COVID-19 virus, what will happen when schools reopen? So most teachers say that school will return to its original practice with minor changes. Then this is a tie. School will return to its original practice, maybe no online classes, and school will be different. So online teaching will become an integral part to school practices. So this one a little different with more online learning than before. What do you think about this?
I
Which
think
one would
at
you go for?
school will be different because people are used to online learning for almost a year now.
Mm.
And then like
I
even though when they
think
open schools, they might have like this SOP. So it'll also be different.
Yeah.
Like with just the minor changes, but I don't think school will still have the online learning because like they were learning online lessons for like 6 months plus. Because like if we go back to school, right, I don't think so the connection there will be good. And then I'm very sure they'll like, like continue back the physical class like how it used to be. because I feel like nobody preferred online teaching.
Another opinion of mine is first we had physical classes, and then every one of us adapt to online learning, and now we have to adapt back to physical learning. So I think that changes will be like a major one for the students and the lecturers as well, because now they have to change from online learning to physical learning, and then some of them already adapted fully on online learning, and things will be hard for them who has adapted online learning already. So what about Diana's opinion?
I think when it comes to school, they can never be totally online learning because our school is not ready yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a fact. We're not ready yet.
Mm.
But when it comes to the whole education sector, if you ask me about the whole education sector, I believe that universities could accommodate that. I think it could be totally an online class. Most of it, the parts that doesn't really require using laboratories or computer labs or anything, and then of course engineering as well. So I believe school might resort to that, especially for STPM students or SPM students, those who are able, I guess. Depends on the school as well. If you go to rural crowds, parts of Kedah as well, they might not be able. Even one or two students won't have any internet connection at home, so that wouldn't be practical, would it?
Ms Maresha, what do you think?
Well, I think that the school will be different because the cases they are still here. It's not like completely gone. The cases are still here. So maybe like just like how our government they have decided only for few levels will be open. For example, like the one that's taking
Big
this important
exam.
exam like UPSR, SPM, and PT3. But like how Shiva said, we have already adapted to online learning environment. So maybe it's not easy to get comfortable and familiar back with physical learning. Maybe for higher education, like you all, maybe it's very comfortable and convenient. But as for primary and preschool, I think maybe they'll find it a bit hard because all this while they were at home, kids, they were too attached to their family, parents. So maybe they'll have like some sort of hard time getting back to this physical.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, we can't wait right here. The perspective on online teaching, so challenging. Yeah, this one is true lah. I think this one is like what Ms Diyana said just now. It's a good alternative provided like resources are available. So for higher education, like those that don't require the lab one and everything can go online, then with all the good resources actually is okay. It's possible. But then a new experience. Humans learn better in an interactive and physical environment. Online learning hampers effective learning for most. I think the teacher feels that online learning is less effective for the students. And then, yeah, very difficult to ensure students are diligent in their studies. I think as students, it's
Yeah.
also very difficult for us to ensure we are diligent in our studies.
Yeah, like
You know, I'm thinking next time when we come back to physical classes, right, we are too used to open book, Then next
yeah.
time, next time we have to study everything again, then it was like, oh. But then one thing I think that online learning either make you or break you. So it can make you be more eager to learn, or you can like just basically you just stop learning already.
But Shiva say it depends, like it depends upon that particular student. I do agree with that. But as a lecturer, as an educator, I cannot give that particular, how to say that, entire responsibility towards the students. It's part of the lecturer's responsibility as well to make the class, alive. Just
Mm,
because we are doing it online class, I don't think so that should be an excuse for the lecturer to make the class to be very boring, less effective, less communication. So I don't think so it should be an excuses actually. So yes, to be honest, of course, I would say that the students they have to be more responsible since this is your life, this and that.
Yeah.
But still, we lecturers we need to help you along the way.
mm.
We have
Yeah.
to help each other, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes.
No wonder your classes are so fun, Miss. I mean,
Yes.
because like see, this is where you come from, right? I mean, not all teachers will think, not all lecturers will think like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's true that like really a teamwork. Like the student and teachers really
Yes, it's
must
all
work.
about
Yeah.
teamwork. Yes.
Yeah.
Most of the lecturers, they'll like, if you put effort, it's good for you, or else you're ruined.
You're on your own.
So that,
Yeah,
yeah,
on your
they'll
own.
just leave.
Because we need to be very honest, like come on, like even myself, I put effort, but if the class is boring, I don't think so I'm going to put that much of effort, even though I've tried, but somehow it's going to drain my brain,
Mm,
sitting and looking at the laptop for 3 hours.
mm,
So the capacity of a student that can actually like listen to the lecture face to face is only 1 hour. After 1 hour, you'll go somewhere else. So it
mm,
depends upon that particular lecturer on how to, to make sure that you stay awake throughout. I mean, I'm talking about the face to face. Imagine online classes. So it's not about just putting effort, it's about lecturers also putting their 100% in doing this, helping their students to actually put effort. So it's
mm.
like I help you, you help me, we help each other, and we can do this. It's like that.
Yeah, here so it says like how to improve the whole online teaching and learning process for both educators and students is to build relationship among students and teachers. Yeah, so that the students and teachers know, like, I cannot live without you, you cannot live without me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any comment here, any response here that jumps out at you, at your,
Done by me.
or done by you? You can remember your response.
Uh, I think I put the more online resources available. Maybe can't
This one,
remember.
change the behavior and buy higher internet resolution first. Actually, you see this one, there should be more equipment for the educators, so that so that the class can be more interesting
Yeah.
for the students.
Yes.
I think we are really like not prepared lah, like Ms Diyana said just now. If we were really prepared, right, if all the resources available, I think everyone's gonna enjoy online learning. Plus
Yes.
the
Yeah.
flexibility and all this sort of thing, right? Actually, there's like a lot of good things about it lah. Yeah.
Mm,
So
true.
all right, I think we will take a short break before we come back to the questions. And then, yeah, so see you all soon.
Oh, don't leave me behind. Without you, I'll cry. 'Cause only you, my baby.
Okay, hello everyone. We are back
The third part.
after our short break. And now we are going to just ask our two important guests here some questions about this whole online education experience. So the first question will come from Aisha. Is it Aisha?
Yes.
All right.
Sure.
Go ahead, Aisha.
So, okay, the question that I have is that I wanted to ask you guys. So, since the start of the first MCO, since March, okay, until now, is it easy or difficult for you to balance your family, your household, your responsibilities with as a student, as a worker, properly?
If you want me to compare online classes and physical classes, I would say online classes is doing me better actually, because I managed to save a lot of time, and I wouldn't say money as well because I have to pay for internet.
Mm,
But it's, time wise, it saves a lot, and energy wise as well. I don't spend as much energy as I used to driving around for 2 hours a day.
mm,
And time as well consuming. So for me, it's become a lot easier, because being a lawyer, you don't really
live on
can't really
home.
expect something just come about. Clients coming in all of a sudden, deadlines. So sometimes you have to stay back in the office. Sometimes I leave late. There were times where I actually leave by 6:30. My class six starts at 6. I actually left at around 6:30, 6:40, something like that, because I had some deadlines I have to fulfill. And the court is not like classes. I can skip class. I can ask my lecturer to just please let me in because I had something to do. When it comes to court, if today's the date that you need to file your documents, that is the date. You can't really pursue further days unless the parties allow, and which is very rare.
Mm,
So I have to put my work as priority.
mm,
I try to compensate the time I've lost in the office by coming in Saturdays and Sundays actually. And Fridays I would
mm,
come in late. I mean, go in very early and go back a bit late lah. And the fact of the matter is, my boss is very generous in giving me
mm,
like maybe half an hour to 1 hour uh, early to leave. So I have to do something to replace the time. He's not
mhm,
asking for it. So but out of your own courtesy, you have to go in.
But this, like furthering your study, this one is your choice, is it? It's not required by your employer or something like that.
No, it's my own choice.
Ah,
It
Is
depends.
it
I mean,
so?
some people get lucky, you know, because some employers would not agree with the idea. I did talk to my boss because I cannot afford not having a job as well. You see. So I went on and had a meeting with him. He agreed. The only thing he said that please do not disturb your working hours. So everything after 4 o'clock should be okay.
it's interesting that like you say like how you need to prioritize work. I mean, you're studying, but then you need to prioritize.
You have to
Yeah,
prioritize
that
work
is-
because he's paying you. That guy is paying you. And the fact of the matter, if you have court deadline, if you have court in the morning and you have a meeting in the morning and so forth for your lecturer, so you have to tell your lecturer, I cannot attend this meeting because I have court in the morning. And mostly it's like,
Was it easy or difficult for you to, balance your family time, your personal time, your work, our lectures and everything?
At first, it was quite tough. Even now, also, it's kind of tough because, like I said earlier, they need my presence to be at my working place as well, in the office as well. So I have to be here and I have to be there. So if I'm not in the office, I have to record the entire lectures and I have to submit everything to this DVC, this HR people, this and that. It's kind of, it's hassling.
All right. Okay, my question is directed to Ms Maresha and Ms Diyana as well. Okay, has the workload increased or decreased before pandemic and after pandemic?
I would say it increased because people were trying to avoid going online, like a Zoom or online meeting like this, virtual meetings. But what they did was my lectures were actually replaced online meetings with more work, more writings, more articles to write, more tests to answer. And because they believe that it's quite easy because you're staying at home. Some of them do not understand the fact that we don't have internet connection, and the fact of the matter that a lot of people are staying inside their house and using the internet. So it's really bad connection. I had a difficult time during the first period of MCO because I actually had to go out, and the fact that police were rounding about, it wasn't easy. Honestly, I was staying in my car. I had to charge my laptop, make sure it's full, the battery, and it lasts for 2 hours because it's a very old laptop back then. Switch a new laptop now. So at the time, it was like for 2 hours I would stay in my car, and I would just drive around to a nearby mall. And thank God the mall has a very good internet connection. So stay in the car for 2 hours, did my job, my downloading, anything that I need to do. So I go back home, I've started writing, and whatever information that is not sufficient for me to write at that particular time, I have to leave that part of the writing blank. So I just go back the next day or before 8 a.m. The curfew was 8 a.m., wasn't it? So I will make sure that before 7:30 I will reach home either way. So that time was quite difficult. But I would say right now it's not difficult anymore because there's no curfew. One, second, that I'm prepared with internet already, and the fact is that most lecturers have been taught about how to use online application like Zoom, Teams. Beforehand, you be surprised because most of the lecturers in KM are very senior lecturers. They're like 50 plus years old, 60 plus years old. So they don't really know how to accommodate themselves in online learning.
How about you,
Nice.
Miss Marisha?
Me, I would say that definitely it has increased a lot because since we are working from home, we have so many additional work to do. And not only that, like I've said earlier, we have considered working from home, but there are times where we need to be at the office, we need to attend meetings, do this, do that. And not only that, currently we were required to prepare a short course actually. So we are working on it. And also they want us to do research, more research right now. Yeah. So because they are thinking that we are being too free, I guess. I don't know. But I cannot blame that. They just want to do some sort of like, maybe they just want us to, how to say, I mean, it's good for us as well. We do research. I mean, it can widen our knowledge even more, right?
I have like a general question for both Ms Marisha and Ms Diana. Uh, Other than just internet connection, which could be a barrier for our online learning, I want to know if environment where like people surrounding us, our family, or just our environment particular, how is it to you? Like the noise, or like how people will distract us from studying?
I would say the moment you start going for studies, there are going to be, of course, negative people and positive people. Of course, when I went for my degree as well, there were people who were saying that law is difficult. Don't do this. Don't do that. The classes are tight. When I did my master's as well, I had that comment, but I ignore it. That's what you do. You ignore it. That's the only thing you can do actually. You ignore it and you just do it. So during the start of this whole thing, online classes, I would say being at home doing online classes it's sometimes difficult because my nieces would come back. My mom doesn't know privacy. Um, so sometimes she would just knock on my door, panicking. Open up. I was like, what? My mom is online. I'm live here. But I have to open up. I would open up, and she would just come in and sit on my bed, just chilling there. I guess this happened last week even. But you have to make your family understand sometimes. I sometimes have to lock myself in my room. Sometimes I would let my mom in, but it's sad to hear that some people don't understand this matter. The fact that online class is still a class, you're still live.
Yeah.
People are seeing you. You need to talk. So my mom would disturb me in such a way, but it's not really significant enough to say that she's disturbing me in a very rude way, I would say. But what she does is she just comes into my room, sits on my bed, but that's okay. Although it's not that professional, I would say, but I just change my background. And there's alternatives to it.
It's like compromise, right? Like we
Yeah.
we try to find a balance lah between our family and all.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I would say that my family, they are very cooperative. They are very understanding, and all I need to do is that I just have to give them the signal, and the house will be like. I
We
think
have
also,
seen this.
yeah,
We have seen.
yeah. So they are very understanding from my father until my younger sister. Sometimes, like they kind of forget that I'm having class right here, so they might make some sort of sound, but I just have to do this and complete silence. So that issue, like no matter, like you remember, like for last semester we had night classes as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so actually my house after 4 p.m. my house would be like very very happening, very hyper, like really like pasamala. They're not being like too into like, oh, why are you like always spending time working, you have to spend time with us, this and they're not like that. They do understand that because of this COVID-19 I'm working from home. So I'm very thankful and grateful to my family actually, that they helped me during this most critical time.
Ms Maresha and like Ms Diyana, do you have anything else that you would like to share about your experience with this whole online thing, or like your opinion about this whole online thing? Before we end, I think like just say a few words about the whole experience.
I would say that I totally agree with online classes. Actually, at a certain point, I do agree with online classes. I think being in Malaysia, we're quite backwards, honestly.
Mm.
My friends that studies overseas, they actually practice online classes years and years ahead of us.
Mm.
They've been practicing it for quite a
Yes.
while. It's an alternative they found whenever people can't really go to classes, such as a blizzard or anything, snowed
Mm.
in. And it's quite practical, and I don't see them failing. I don't see them having trouble submitting, you see. But the only issue that we have is our resources,
Mm.
which is really bad when it comes to education, higher education, such as yourselves and myself, PhD students as well. I think online classes are very, very okay, very, very excellent. It saves time, it saves cost.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Diana. And then Miss Marisha, what about you?
From my perspective, I would say that online classes, it actually helps me to be more understanding when it comes to my students, because we had like how to say similar problems. We face similar problems when it comes to COVID-19, and not only that, I believe that my relationship with my students, it has gotten much better, because like face to face, of course, I know you guys, I know all of y'all, we had a very good relationship, but we are more to education, education, education all the time. We do have communication, but not like now. Because in order just to make y'all to stay awake, I have to talk something, just of course to make myself to stay awake. So you have no idea how many times my eyes will just close on its own. So I just talk something that really can make me to stay awake. So this kind of communication where we really open up to each other makes me, I mean, as a lecturer, it makes me be very comfortable with you guys, because
Yeah.
not all lecturers can be comfortable with the students, to be honest. And at the same time, not all the students can be comfortable with the lecturers. But I think that I'm very comfortable with you all, actually, thanks to this online class.
Right. Was a
Yeah.
great sharing session from
Yeah.
Ms Maresha and Ms Diyana. And yeah, we want to thank both of you for taking your time on a Saturday. Today's Saturday. We are recording this to join us for this short podcast recording. So we truly want to thank all of you for being here today, as well as thanking our listeners too. If you all have any comments or any suggestions, anything you would like to share, you can just write it down below. All right,
Yes.
so take care, everyone.